So apparently no couch for on the couch, but we have a fantastic bench until we get our new couch delivered or custom made or whatever. We're trying to figure it out. Until then, we're gonna have to improvise. But we now have Got Style, a fantastic menswear store down in the Distillery District in Toronto, Ontario, are on board to provide my wardrobe. And isn't this really cool? Yeah? Yeah. So welcome, Got Style. We're a bit emotional today and very, very excited. We have brought our lovely show to to our new home at Buddies in Bad Times Theater, a space that is perfect start for the plans that we have for the bigger show. Until then, until we take that next step, we will continue on documenting many talented and creative folks in our LGBT community and friends and allies. And as we have done in the last 5 years, we will have fantastic chats that are in-depth, casual, happy, positive, affirming. That's what we feel On the Couch is all about. It's about creating an archive and getting to know all the great talents in our community and getting to know them a little bit more deeper than just a 3-minute soundbite. So here is to a great time ahead. Now back to Buddies, a space that is a big part of our modern LGBTQ community in Toronto and Canada. You're surrounded in history when you are here. So to get us going in this space, I felt it's appropriate to just tell you a little bit about Buddies. So I grabbed those little snippets from their website, and here's some information about them. Our queer is beautiful. Our queer is lesbian and gay. It is trans and non-binary. It is intersex. It is bi and poly and pan. It is two-spirit. It is ace. It is demi, and it is so much more. Our queer is all the letters in our alphabet rainbow. It is all the letters that have yet to be included and the ones that are still to be discovered. Our queer demands justice. Our queer seeks meaningful inclusion. Our queer is political. Our queer is anti-racist. Our queer is anti-colonial. Our queer is truth and reconciliation. Our queer is without borders. Is that lovely? Yeah. Yes. I love what they're saying. This is just a snippet. Founded in 1979, since then the company has grown to be the largest and longest running queer theater company in the world. A unique institution that has made an unparalleled contribution to the acceptance of queer lives in Canada. Although the company eventually achieved notoriety and success in the 1980s as a queer theater company, it was not founded with that intent. Buddies originally focus was on staging adaptations of poetry. I did not actually know that. Since then, the company articulated a vision for its work that was unapologetically political, fiercely pro-sexual, and fundamentally anti-establishment. To find out more about Buddies in Bad Times Theater, visit their website at buddiesandbadtimestheater.com. Now your turn. Hey everyone! Give yourself a big round of applause. Welcome. Thank you for being here. You two at home, give yourself also a big round of applause. Maybe get up and do a wave or something. We will be visiting during the show with Kat Grant and her awesome guest, fine artist Kim Atlin. And later in the show, we will check in with Boyd Kodak and his guest, Patricia Ann Aldridge, from the infamous store, Take a Walk on the Wild Side. My guest is someone totally fitting for this episode, an icon of Buddies herself. If you have ever attended a performance or a dance in this space, you know her in the back bar serving up a storm. She's tough as nails, yet kind and spiritual, and really cares deeply about this community. She's Patricia Wilson. Help me welcome her, everyone. Patricia. Hi, Sarah.
Very nice.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here and on your own home turf, no less. So
from my office to you.
it's your office here now.
Yeah.
You are the sum of a lot of parts of you. You're a bartender, author, musician, community voice, to name a few. So let's first talk to the bartender. How long have you been part of Buddies?
I started in 1993.
What? Long
what
history.
the hell is that? I don't know.
You held other jobs, or you still
I
hold other
started as
jobs?
a publicist here.
You're the publicist.
Yeah.
You also manage the cabaret space, right? Kinda.
I manage after 10 o'clock any late night events that happen.
Okay.
I do the planning for that.
Okay.
And it's...
You love it?
I love it.
It's been a
I
great
love it
journey here.
because it's great and we have the community, and also it's a real shit show.
To you, bartending is?
Oh, well, see, I used to work at Lee's Palace too.
I
So there's
remember
two
that.
different types of bartending.
Okay.
Bartending at Lee's Palace is fantastic. It's pure rock and roll.
Okay.
Bartending here is saving lives.
Wow, nice.
Right? Because we get to see some of the kids that get beat up at breakfast by their dads and have nowhere else to go but to come here. And we get to make them feel individual, we make them feel important, and we make sure they get home safely.
It does feel like a safe space when you're
And
here.
that's,
I know, and
so
it's a lot of
bartending
diverse
here,
people.
that's what it
Yeah.
is for me.
Yeah, Patricia and Buddy. Tell us a funny story.
I'm going to tell you one that kind of changed my view of what pride was.
Oh,
When you work at Pride all the time, and I have for many years, you get a little bit jaded. All of a sudden, these two men, this is about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, come up. They're probably in their late 60s, early 70s, and they're holding hands. And I ask them what they want, and they burst out crying. I said, oh my God. I said, what the fuck's the matter? Well, like, what did, you know? And they said, we live in Texas.
oh,
We can't do this in Texas.
oh.
We
Wow.
can't hold hands in a bar with thousands of people around us and feel the love. And they thanked us.
Beautiful.
And that moment, my life changed and my thought about pride changed.
Beautiful.
Because pride isn't for me.
It's for those that.
It's
that
for
need
the
this.
people that
Yeah.
aren't able to have what I get, thankfully, every day.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
those are my
Thank
stories.
you. Thanks for sharing. At the conclusion of the story, come to Buddies for Pride and for Love. And we're going to take a little break. We're going to visit with Kat Grant and Kim Atlin, and we will be back with Patricia. All right.
Hey everyone, Kat Grant here, and I'm here today with the wonderfully talented Kim Atlin, who is a fine artist. She does beautiful oil paintings that are abstract landscapes. Welcome, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So you grew up from London, Ontario,
That's correct.
and you had a bit of difficulty growing up as you're dyslexic.
Yes, that's true. I am dyslexic.
Yes. And so you told me before that part of your learning process, you were inspired by a special ed teacher. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
I had a special ed teacher who had great faith in me, and he allowed me to believe that I could do anything. And it was really fortunate at that time because, as with most people, you know, sometimes you just need one person to believe in you, and then you can do anything.
So you went to OCAD, but ironically, you didn't do painting. What were your majors?
I majored in printmaking and sculpture, and I didn't start painting until after I graduated.
And where did you do that?
I actually took a course with Tom Dean after graduation, who's a Toronto painter, or actually he's a Toronto sculptor, and he believed at the time that painting wasn't dead and that it should be investigated further, and so he just taught painting and had with great passion.
Kim's work is very colorful and beautiful. How do you pick your scenes?
I really have no problem with inspiration. This summer I went on canoe trips and kayaking trips, and I was actually, for the first time ever, I started painting within a kayak, which was very interesting for me. It was, you had to be very quick, and I also have an allotment garden down here in Toronto, and I find that very inspiring as well. And there's a ton of other stuff.
Do you take a camera out and take a photo, or is it all from your memory?
Both. I do both from photos and from memory and from sketching. So yeah, all of it.
The last year you've had, I believe, 2 gallery shows?
Yes, I had a show in Edmonton in February when the polar vortex was there, and it didn't leave the entire duration of the show, so it was minus 25 the entire time. And I also had a show in Toronto in April.
And what gallery was that?
That was at Diana Witt Gallery down in Leslieville.
And in the future coming up, I believe that you are back at Diana Witt?
They are taking me to Art Toronto. That's in October here in Toronto, and then I've got something scheduled for 2020 in London, Ontario.
Kim's work is all over. She's very well known and respected, so we are gonna want to see her. Tell everyone where they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram at Kim Atlin, and I have a website, just kimatlin.com, and I'm a little bit on Facebook. I'm not very good at Facebook.
Yes, so check out her website. Thanks so much for coming.
Oh, thanks for
Really
having me.
appreciate it. Beautiful work.
Thanks.
Woohoo! So now we're going to get to the next part of you, the
Next
author.
part of me, the author.
Okay. Your prose and poetry has been published in anthologies and chapbooks, and you recently had 2 acclaimed books, Musings from the Bunker, Slouching Towards Womanhood, as well as your collaborative poetry collection, Trans Meditations, with David Bateman.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about those 2 books, please.
I do a journal, but I do it on Facebook every day.
I read
and
it.
people asked me to write, make a book from it, and
Oh, wow.
it was not something I ever thought. But David Bateman, he insisted that it was the thing to do. So David, through R.M. Vaughan, Richard Vaughan is a well-known author in our community,
Yeah.
put David Bateman and David as my editor. So David sat down, and God bless him, he took all my Facebook posts and
Wow.
put them all together, and then some of my stories. The musings are the Facebook and some poetry, and then Slouching Towards Womanhood is part of the book that are different stories that happens while I was in California, while I was on the road on Route 66, while I was trying to decide one day I wanted to be, change my sex, the other day I didn't want, the one day I did, all those fucking things that
You're
happen.
honest.
Well, if you're not honest, then why are you alive? And it's not bad. It's not
And we
bad.
can find it on Amazon.
Oh yes, I'm going to give a plug here. Amazon.ca.
And I hear you're collaborating, or maybe not collaborating, on something with Dr. Sky Gilbert, the founder,
Dr.
one of the
Sky
founders of
Gilbert,
Buddies. What is that all about?
Well, just a Founders and Buddies is also Sky Gilbert. Sky hired me at Buddies many, many years ago as a publicist. What I'm doing is David Bateman and I, we did it last year and we'll do it this year. Sky teaches at Guelph University,
Yeah.
and he's asked us to go up and read
Oh, you're
our
doing a
books
reading.
to his
Beautiful.
students
Nice.
because it was so successful last time. So
Awesome.
we are very, very honored to do
Beautiful
it. I
work.
love those damn kids.
Canadian playwright Judith Thompson has described your daily musings as like Proust, but in the here and now. What does that feel to you or mean to you, or that sentence?
I mean, what do you say?
It's in your biography.
I mean, she said it. It was like absolutely astounding. And Judith Thompson, if you don't
Yeah.
know Judith Thompson,
You should.
she is the shits of theater, right?
Yeah.
She's the best.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to have her say that
Quite
is
an
like the
honor.
biggest honor.
That's
but
beautiful. Let's switch now to the musician in you. How did your love for music start, and what do you play, Patricia?
I write songs for the band and I play guitar, and for a band called Crack Puppy.
Right, Papi.
Right. And but I started with music when I was about this high.
Uh-huh.
And my father used to have to drive me to the Ursuline School Convent of Music in Windsor, Ontario, where I took my piano lessons.
Uh-huh.
And we would walk into this big hall, and all it was shuffling penguins. the nuns just shuffling from room to room, and you're sitting in a waiting room, knowing that somewhere in one of those rooms you're going to go into, and you're going to either meet your death or learn piano.
I've always been actually curious about where the name Crackpot is. It's an amusing name. What does
Yeah,
it mean
it
to
is.
you?
I hate to say it, but it happened over drugs and booze.
Okay.
So
I kind of
we-
figured something happened while you're kind of high.
the singer in the band, he and I were drinking Jack Daniels in my living room, which I know is unheard of. And we were and I have a little time at that point. She was only 8 months old, a little half Jack, half Chihuahua. And
It's a
she was
crack
like,
puppy.
I said, "Oh my God, that fucking dog is on crack." and
That's where the name came from.
and the singer said, "Puppy," and I said, "Oh my God, that's the name of the band,
Crack Puppy.
Crack Puppy."
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What are you currently working on with the band?
We're all a little older now, a little creakier, and we may get back together, but it's not the end of the story. But
Cool.
right now, I'm writing some songs, and I have a couple people I'm working with, and
Yes.
you never quit. You just keep going.
I don't think you can get the musician out of you
Well,
once you're a musician.
Muddy Waters played until the day he died.
Yeah. Tell us of some exciting venues that you've played over time.
My favorite venue in Toronto is the Horseshoe Tavern.
Nice.
I have played for the longest time. We were playing there every month, sometimes twice a month.
Oh, wow.
And it was the best. And Lee's Palace is great. I mean, I played Yonge and Dundas Square a few times.
Yeah,
And that was great, and
That's
it
a lot.
was
That's a big crowd.
a big crowd, and
Yeah.
one of those was for the
Transmarsh?
yes, thank you.
The Transmarsh.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And we played after that.
In your parts, the community voice. You have been part of the community for a long time now.
Too long, but that's okay. I'll try.
Kidding.
I'll skip
we
along.
love our aging. What causes along the journey did you get most passionate about in the community?
I think if you're really into the community, for me, this is my own story. It's your passion happens around what you feel about yourself. You don't. I'm not a person.
You don't
to pick.
select choices.
I don't select choices.
Yeah.
There's a million choices out there. There's a million things, and for me,
That's beautiful.
my passion comes around with people that I can identify with face to face. I'm a face to face person.
What work is happening at the present in the community that you applauding?
The world is a really precarious place right now. I mean, we could be at the end of the world. Do we change the climate, or do we change the government, or should it
Something
be about
has to
gender
change,
rights?
yeah.
Should it be about what should it be? Take your pick.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much, right? And so there's nothing that really grasps me right now except that people should be kinder to each other. That's all.
Kinder, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
We like that,
that's-
right? Kinder is always the way to go. We are going to take a little break. We're going to check in with Boyd Kodak and his guest Patricia Ann Aldridge, and we will be back with the lovely Patricia here. So, let's take a little break.
Hi, I am delighted to have as my guest on this show Patricia Ann Aldridge. Patricia is the owner and operator of a safe space called Take a Walk on the Wild Side that's been around for 32 years. Welcome, my darling. Tell us about Take a Walk on the Wild Side.
I started Take a Walk in the Wild Side in 1987, and nobody would run my ads. First newspaper was Extra, and they did ads for Wild Side. And we got people from all over the world shortly after that, because I ended up going on the Donahue show with a trans woman that I fell in love with.
And came to get what at the store? Tell us, what do you provide?
We help men to look like women.
So you help guide people through their transition process.
Yes, you could say that.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yeah. Now let's hear a bit about your famous wedding.
We got married right here in Buddies in Bad Times Theater. Patty, me, and Roxy. We had like a drag show before the ceremony, and Reverend Brent Hawks.
Okay, so
married us,
was this
and
the first?
Patricia Wilson was there.
Was she? You had famous guests. Wow, that's amazing.
Guy Gilbert was my maid of honor. My wedding gown came from the transformation room of Take a Walk on the Wild Side.
Oh, nice.
So I wore a wedding gown that probably 200 guys had worn before me. And I had nothing for the bridesmaids. We had 12 bridesmaids. So I ran into my store, and the only thing I could find was French-made outfits. So I'm sure it's the only wedding in history that has the bridal party French-made.
I hear that you were part of a fabulous documentary that won a recent award.
Filming company that did this, the director and the writers, were called Lifted Eyes Media. There was 2 or 3 other guests who were very genuine, honest, sincere people. You know, like Sabrina, and she forgot her teeth. You know, so, but when I got that red wig on Sabrina's head and held up the mirror and said, "What do you think?" And Sabrina just smiled with a mouthful of gums.
That's
and
adorable.
it was like Christmas for Sabrina.
Super. Tell us now a little more about the store, where we can find you, where people can go to shop.
Shopwildside.com. We also have a separate site called wildside.org, wildside.org. Store is at 161 Gerrard Street East, across from Allen Gardens.
Okay, that's in Toronto. Make sure you get there. Thank you, Patty. It has been such a pleasure.
And we are back with the lovely Patricia Wilson, everyone. Patricia, you were born across the river from the Motor City in the same year that Elvis Presley recorded That's All Right, Mama.
Actually, the same year and the same day.
Same day he recorded.
July 5th, 1954.
That's lots of history. And ever since, you have been, quote unquote, chasing the role wherever you can find it. How has the chase been?
Well, rock and roll. Rock is what you see. Roll is a heart of rock.
Yay.
So I'm chasing the roll, and it's gone all right.
Been a good-
Look around the audience. Look around what I do. The
Been a good
roll
journey.
and the heart is all there.
We love hearing that. You've been really amazing for our community. Yeah. Yeah, Patricia. Let's talk about growing up. How was it growing up there? How was your childhood? How was all of that?
Oh,
Family.
The drugs were amazing.
So move there if you need good drugs.
Drugs are amazing. I mean, Detroit was right there. Drugs are amazing. It was nice. I grew up during the punk generation. It was great.
Oh, yeah?
And we would
Must have been
drink.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And we would drink in the States and drink in Canada.
Huh.
But we also had lots of parkland. And I grew up on the river.
Oh, no.
So it'll always be in my blood.
Now you have your own small family?
Yes, I have 2 cats, 2 dogs, and a lesbian at home. And I think that's a good enough family.
That's all what you need in this life. 2 cats, 2 dogs, and a lesbian.
Yeah, that's a pretty good family.
Spiritually speaking, what do you believe in, Patricia?
Spiritually, it's about when you get up in the morning, you like what you see in the mirror.
No.
Doesn't matter, you have to like what you
I love that.
see in the mirror. Secondly, you have to have that one thing that makes you get away from that mirror and make your dream happen. That's what our lives
Right.
are about. That's my spirituality.
Cool. And that's a great thing to believe in. It's time to wrap up. So it's time for our quick questions. Just answer the first thing that comes to mind. Your favorite writers, go.
Patti Smith. I like Joyce Carol Oates. I love William Blake.
Rolling back, great.
Okay.
Your favorite bands?
I've always loved Motorhead, Led Zeppelin. you know,
Hardcore.
I love the Beatles. I love the
Beatles. Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Rolling Stones, actually, if everything was taken away, I would always have the Rolling Stones.
Beautiful. Yes, we love those. A book currently on your nightstand.
The Year of the Monkey, Patti Smith.
Best way to unwind after a long day.
In my living room with a Jack and soda and the 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a lesbian.
Back to that. And your favorite food to eat.
Food is, as Buddha said, food is love. So anything I eat, as long as it's made with love,
Beautiful.
me.
Nice. Okay, now, if you look at the camera, what would you say to the LGBT community after all this time being part of it and to our audience at home?
Be who you are. Always tell the truth to yourself first. If you have to lie to the community, make sure there's a good reason for it. But always be true to yourself.
Thank you. We love you. Yes. So there you have it, folks. Our first filming at Buddies and Bad Times Theater, and good times had by all. Join us for a future filming. You can now actually get your absolutely free tickets on Buddies and Bad Times website, or write us on facebook.com/join us on the couch. Lean on one another. We are community. We have amazing friends and allies. We did say that the world sometimes may feel difficult these days, but there are a lot of wonderful, loving people. And when it doesn't feel that way, we have each other. So shine bright, my beautiful friends, and we'll see you soon. Have a great night. Thank you.